Welcome to this question and answer forum featuring the candidates for the 2012 Fayette County School Board Posts 1 and 2, presented by Comcast and the Fayette Chamber of Commerce. All local candidates in contested races in the primary election were invited, and they appear in alphabetical order within their race. All candidates were asked the same questions. Answers are to be less than 60 seconds in length. The candidates for Post 1 are Scott Hollowell and Barry Marchman. Why are you running for Fayette County School Board, and what are your qualifications for this office?
My qualifications for the office are, I've been a leader in the community. I serve on the board of directors for Advocates CASA, which works with abused and neglected children. I serve on the board of directors of the Friends of the Tyrone Library. I've also been a leader in the business community, having been active in the chamber and having leadership positions in the chamber. But my most relevant qualifications are, I own my own financial advisory firm in Peachtree City. And as a financial advisor, one of the things I work with is helping people understand the long-term consequences of the short-term decisions they make. So what I'll bring to the board is a pragmatic approach to solving problems and some tough-minded leadership.
Hello, I'm Barry Marchman. I teach finance classes at Georgia Tech. Before that, I was an electrical engineer at Erickson Private Radio Systems and Georgia Power Company. I've managed big projects and I've handled large budgets. I have an electrical engineering degree from Georgia Tech, and I have an MBA and a PhD in finance from Florida State University. I'm pretty good at math. My wife Evelyn is pretty good at math too. She was a math teacher in Cobb County before we had children. We have 3 boys and 4 girls now. We've been married 17 years. Now, why am I running for school board? I think that the biggest issue facing the school board right now is financial sustainability. And as a finance professor, I want to offer the Board of Education a 4-year course in fiscal discipline and free market economics. You can find out more about me at www.barrymarchman.com.
What is the single most important issue affecting the quality of education in Fayette County, and what do you plan to do about it?
Well, the financial shortfalls and the stresses that causes are the number one issue. It's going to be hard to build upon our tradition of excellence until we get our fiscal house in order. One of the things we need to do is make sure that we're analyzing the right decision, and we need to accelerate the decision-making process. The longer we put off tough decisions, the deeper the financial hole we get. So we need to make sure that we're making the difficult decisions in a timely manner.
The single most important issue facing the Board of Education right now is financial sustainability. We cannot have a strong school system unless we have a solid financial base. The board recently voted to spend $14 million more than it will receive next year. Just a few years ago, the board had a very strong financial base. They voted to spend $5 million, then $11 million, and now $14 million more than they receive. At the end of the next school year, we'll be left with about 2 days worth of money. We will be forced to obtain tax anticipation warrants. That's a payday loan until taxes are collected in November. An entity with $163 million in revenue should not be allowed to operate like the most destitute among us. A payday loan? This is not the path to financial sustainability. BarryMarchman.com.
What are the challenges facing the Fayette County school budget, and how do you plan to address that?
Well, it's clear we have a financial shortfall. Everyone knows that. What we may not be aware of is that when adjusted for inflation, the state is funding education at a lower level than it was in the year 2000. So the first thing I would lobby for is to have the state funding formula be adjusted for inflation. That would help. The second thing we need to do is a system-wide analysis where we scrub every budget line and look at everything. I've met with the superintendent, and I believe he's open to all options. We just need to make sure that the decisions we make minimize any impact on the classroom and the students.
It is the board's job to set a vision and a direction for the superintendent. My vision is that the school system will live within its means while building a strong financial base for its future. I don't think you can attract and keep good teachers in a system that's living on the edge of insolvency year after year. Sometimes responsible people have to step up and make hard decisions. We have about $14 million worth of administrators in our school system. I think with that much brain power, we can find a way to balance the budget. I will vote every time to support the superintendent when he has to make hard decisions that are the right thing for this community, decisions that will ensure long-term financial stability, while at the same time providing the same high quality of education that our students and parents have come to expect. You can find out more about me at barrymarchman.com.
What should be the role of technology in the classrooms, and why is that important to the future of Fayette County?
There are three things we need to think about with technology. First, our students need to be comfortable using technology so they can compete in a global economy. Second, the students also need to think about technology in a more holistic manner, meaning how technology can be disruptive and make industries disappear, and technology can be empowering, impacting other industries in a positive way. So they need to apply critical thinking skills to how technology can be used to make sure that technology is effective. The third thing, as educators, we need to think about technology and how we can use it to deliver quality education. I believe we're at an inflection point when it comes to technology and education. Right now, if you're a student in Cape Town, South Africa, you can sign up for online courses with Stanford University. That's a world-class education delivered right to your doorstep, and that's an amazing change, and that's something we need to embrace.
I love technology. I use technology in my classrooms. I love the auto response system where I can ask the students a question and they can answer using their smartphone, and then we can graph the results immediately. I love my PowerPoints, my document cameras, my projectors, internet in the classroom, real-time market data. I like the idea of podcasting lectures and then using the class time to work problems or do experiments. I love it that students can go to Google Docs and write a paper together. I have a program that will read that paper and check for plagiarism. I love technology. I like it when my students bring their own technology. I keep them off of Facebook by constantly badgering them with questions. They have to look up stuff and participate in the discussion. It keeps them engaged. I love technology for older students, but I think we need to be cautious when using technology with younger students. My pediatrician told me that too much screen time stunts a child's brain development. I think that's true. Technology is an important tool, but in my opinion, nothing beats a good old-fashioned book.
The candidates for Post 2 are Mary Kay Bacayao and Gary Griffin. Why are you running for Fayette County School Board, and what are your qualifications for this office?
Hi, I'm Mary Kay Bacayao. I've been paying close attention to the Fayette County School Board for the past 8 years. I read just about every article written about the school board in that time frame. I have been and am now working in education as a full professor at Mercer University, who clearly understands how to prepare our college-bound students, as well as students who pursue other career paths. I bring conservative values to education, finance, and a sound organization to meet our standards for the next 4 years and beyond. 24 years of practical experience in math, science, and technology education, and a doctorate in educational leadership equip me with the background knowledge needed to make wise, well thought out, and sound decisions for our school system. If you elect me as a board member, my 3 goals will be to enact zero-based budgeting, support and strengthen our teaching force, and vote for sound policies on conservative principles. Thank you.
My name is Gary Griffin, and I'm running for the Fayette County Board of Education, Post 2, because I want to serve the students and citizens of Fayette County. I believe one of the greatest challenges we face in the 21st century is making sure that all students get a quality education. I believe I can bring vision, leadership, and experience to this role to help the district. I bring almost 15 years of extensive K-12 experience that spans multiple state departments of education and many local districts. During that time, I helped implement one of the first data warehouses for South Carolina Department of Education. Recently, I was the Director of Data Quality and Research Accountability and Strategy and Development Division for Atlanta Public Schools. Even a little more recent than that, I managed the implementation of a statewide longitudinal data system for the state of North Dakota Office of Public Instruction. You can find my complete profile on LinkedIn.com, where you can view my credentials.
What is the single most important issue affecting the quality of education in Fayette County, and what do you plan to do about it?
I'm disappointed that a majority of the board gave away your right to vote for 4 of our 5 board members. I expressed my concerns at the Republican County Convention back in March before Judge Batten overturned the settlement. I don't understand why any people group would willingly give up voting rights. If district voting is enacted, our community will be divided. We can already see this happening as discussions about school closures pit the Fayette City Schools against rural Brooks Elementary and Tyrone Elementary in the north. The energy expended in these disagreements could be better used to strengthen our community efforts to improve education in our county. I believe that every board member impacts education for the entire county, so every board member should be accountable to all the voters in the county. Together we can accomplish so much more. If elected, I will seek to include all people groups.
We now live in an information society with a knowledge-based economy. We can no longer afford to provide our students with an industrial society education. The world around us has changed, and we too must change in education. Equality education must provide students with skills and foundational knowledge that is timely, relevant, and applicable to the world in which they live and someday will enter as workers and citizens. Our greatest challenge to quality education is making sure that we have 21st century classrooms staffed with teachers who possess 21st century skills, who can provide our students with a 21st century learning experience that will carry them throughout the rest of their lives. I plan to work with other board members and the superintendent to assess where we are based on the strategic plan. Where appropriate, I will work to drive policies and change throughout the district to make sure that our education system is aligned to 21st century workforce skills and market needs in preparing our students for the global knowledge-based economy.
What are the challenges facing the Fayette County school budget, and how do you plan to address that?
The school board approved a budget next year with $177 million in expenditures and $163 million in revenue. Next year, our fund balance is projected to be around $800,000. The current plan expends $14 million in reserves. In times past, we've actually had to borrow money from SunTrust to pay our teachers. That doesn't give anyone any confidence. We want to have confidence in the financial decisions of the school board, and spending our reserves does not instill financial confidence, especially since we don't know budget details. If elected, I would ensure that an Excel spreadsheet of every item spent in the budget was made public. I will join with others on the board and support zero-based budgeting, not just by going by what was spent in the past, but looking at the budget in a whole new light, making sure that all the expenditures are in line with our mission, excellence in education.
Most would not describe Fayette County school system as an urban school district. However, the school system has some of the very real urban school problems. Those problems are primarily around the budget, and like districts across America, we have to face the very real fiscal problems that are driving issues like pay cuts, furlough days, layoffs, elimination of school programs, and even school closings. The fact of the matter is that you can't spend money you don't have. These days, everyone's being asked to do more with less, and the Fayette County school system is no different. While cuts to the budget are necessary to bring fiscal discipline to our school system, they must be done so responsibly and strategically so as to not cripple our system in the long term while we deal with the budget issues in the short term. If you elect me, I will work with the other board members and the superintendent to identify creative solutions to the fiscal crisis, such as alternative and additional revenue sources, process improvements, and that can increase efficiency and drive down costs, and innovative programs that attract outside funding.
What should be the role of technology in the classrooms, and why is that important to the future of Fayette County?
We need to prepare our students to live in a world filled with technology. Technology should be used to make teaching and learning more effective and more efficient. The internet can be a source for real-world data for math, primary source documents for social studies, online collaboration for literacy, or virtual experiments for science. Computers should be used to store digital portfolios of student work projects, such as digital stories or documentaries. I support interactive teacher and student presentation tools and electronic response systems for assessment. I would like our teachers and students to be on the cutting edge, creatively producing new educational applications of technology instead of passively consuming technologies designed by others. If elected, I will vote for policies on the school board that advance effective and efficient use of technology for increased thinking and learning.
I will start with an analogy to answer this question. If you dig a hole, you could use your hand. That would be slow, labor-intensive, and probably very painful. You could also use a shovel. This would be faster, but still labor-intensive. The best solution would be to use a backhoe. In this scenario, the task did not change. What changed were the tools that made the process quicker, easier, and much more efficient. The role of technology in the classroom is to support the learning transaction. The teacher must still teach, and the student must still learn. Technology is simply a tool that enhances our ability to deliver a quality education experience that is quicker, easier, and much more efficient. It engages our students in a learning experience that reflects a 21st century lifestyle. You cannot disconnect the education experience from the workforce and the economy. You must use technology to help provide a 21st century education. To the extent that we are successful in this endeavor has a direct impact on our community and our economic development in terms of our long-term growth and prosperity.
This has been a question and answer forum featuring the candidates for the 2012 Fayette County School Board posts 1 and 2. Comcast and the Fayette Chamber of Commerce are proud to make this possible.